everybody, welcome back to Lessons Learned, the podcast where we aim to turn our experiences into your wisdom. I'm Randy, here today with Chris, Jared, Joe, and Talon, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about New Year's, and we're going to revisit the SMART goals episode from a few weeks ago. If you guys haven't listened, go ahead and give that a listen. So Chris, why don't you go ahead and take us in?
Sorry, start over. I think you cut out for like that last 2 seconds.
Did I? God damn it.
Well, if it worked for him, then
yeah, I was
you can
going to
just
say
cut
it doesn't matter.
and then you can start.
It made Chris awkward, though.
Yeah, it did. Can you? I'm sorry. Can you just restart?
Yeah, we can do it again. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah. Yep.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Lessons Learned, the podcast where we aim to turn our experiences into your wisdom. I'm Randy, here today with Chris, Jared, Joe, and Talon, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about New Year's resolutions, and we're going to touch back on an episode from a few weeks ago where I talked about my SMART goals, but Chris will take us into that. Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Krampus. What's up, guys? It's Chris. So yeah, we're talking about some New Year's resolutions and touching back on Randy's SMART goal. It's only a few days, guys. 2020 is almost over.
Woohoo!
Yeah. Like, finally.
Bro, we made it through this year. We can make it through anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might make it past 30 now. Who knows?
Dang.
Oh my God. But yeah, that's awesome. I'm so excited that this year is over. 2021 is going to be my bitch. But it's going to be dope. It's going to be awesome, dude. Only good things from here out. So, with that being said, some other good news. Randy is going to talk about his SMART goal and whether he made it or not.
Ooh.
Yup.
That's on. He made it. I'm hopeful.
Bet.
I like Randy. He's cool.
Well,
Oh, well,
I don't want him to
thanks.
fail.
Sometimes.
Well.
Sometimes he needs to take a day off.
yeah,
you
his
know?
mind races.
Thanks. Yeah, yeah.
If his body burned calories like his mind does,
Oh my God.
He'd
I'd
be a
god.
Let's hear it.
All right, so let's go back to week 1. So when I did my initial weigh-in and measurements and everything, I was 36.25 inches around my waist, and I was 165 pounds. Final
not that bad,
measurements.
though.
It's not that bad, but it's not where I want to be.
Okay.
Final measurements, I put a little bit of an asterisk next to, and I'll explain why in a minute. But final measurements were 34.25 inches and 160 pounds. Now,
Damn.
Nice, man.
yeah. So now the reason I put the asterisk was because I measured yesterday morning, and usually when I measure, I do it first thing when I get up and get out of bed. But I forgot to do it, and then I went to the gym. Now, mind you, I still hadn't eaten anything, but I did drink a lot of water while I was at the gym. So I'm thinking I might have went up a little bit, because actually the week prior, I was 34 inches and 160 pounds.
Damn, dude.
And actually, the day before, I weighed in at 158, but I didn't count that because it wasn't the weigh-in day.
Gotcha. So you lost what? What'd you start at 36 and a half?
Yeah, 36 and a half.
And you're now at 34.25?
Yeah.
Asterisk.
Wow.
Yeah, asterisk. 34.25 asterisk. Nice, dude.
Wow.
And you only lost 5 pounds.
Yeah. Which I
That's
definitely
crazy.
put on some muscle, too.
That's incredible, man.
Yeah.
That's
like,
tough.
that just proves to show how the human body works. Like, you only lost 5 pounds and more than in 2 inches. Well, yeah. 2 inches
Yeah.
off your waist. Holy shit.
Wow.
Yep.
And how long? 4 weeks?
4 weeks.
Whoo, buddy.
All right. So let's talk about how you did that, because I'm interested now. Like, how the hell did you do that?
All right.
What was your
well,
diet and what was your workout?
So I'll start off by saying the goal was 1 inch. So that being said, I would have had to be at 35.25 in order to get there over that amount of time.
35 and a half.
Or, well, no, because 36.25 was the initial measurement.
Oh, so then I got backed up then. My bad.
That's all right. So I hit that in the first week.
Damn.
But
Wow.
yeah. This is where it gets kind of tricky, because your body is weird. You don't know, like, I may not have initially measured in that high, like, realistically, like, who knows, I might have been bloated that day for some reason, or maybe retaining water. Maybe I drank a lot of water the day before. So I like, not to take away from what I did, because I do still think it was good, and I did, yeah, I'm sure you guys saw the pictures where I did update pictures, and you can see the difference. But even still, like, that's just something to kind of keep in mind, especially for someone who's going forward and say that you measure in, at one measurement and then go up the following week. It doesn't necessarily mean that you went up. It could just be an external factor.
True.
So that's why
consistently going up.
Yeah, exactly. That's why, like, I talked to you guys after the first week, and I was like, hey, guess what? I hit the goal already. But that's why I was kind of like, now it's about consistency.
Right. Yeah,
and
that's
really,
awesome.
And really, that's what the whole thing boiled down to, was consistency, and that's when I really started seeing the bigger results. Like, the first 2 weeks, I really didn't get to the gym as much as I wanted to. It was really more about the diet. So as far as diet goes, and we talked about this, my goal was to cut out a lot of the processed sugars, and that was probably the biggest part of it. I cut out the good majority of the processed sugars I was eating.
How was that? Was that pretty easy to do?
After the first week was a little tough, and actually the first week I kind of got a little bit of a late start. Like, I didn't really start anything until Wednesday that week.
Yeah.
But the first week was tough, but then honestly, like, this is, again, like what Chris was saying is crazy about the human body is once you start getting into those habits, then that's what your body wants. Like, you start eating, vegetables and start eating bananas and fruits and stuff like that. And then next thing you know, when you're craving something, you're craving something that your body needs, not like chocolate.
Yep.
So what processed sugars were you eating then that you cut out?
Oreos.
It was really mostly, like chocolates and candies. People bring that kind of stuff into my work all the time. So cookies, chocolates, cakes,
donuts,
stuff like that. So it's donuts. So that's what made it tough, was because I'm around that stuff all the time because people are always bringing it in.
Yeah, I hear that. I'm usually the sucker. I'll usually grab one because I'm a fatty.
Exactly. The other reason I think my measurements might have gone up slightly the final week was Thanksgiving week, so I did go out for Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, I was about to ask about that because I know you had to work through Thanksgiving. I was wondering if you went all in.
Yeah, I went a little bit all in, but then I did an intermittent fast the day after Thanksgiving for 15 hours.
Nice.
Or actually, no, it might have been longer than that. It might have been I was 18 hours that one.
Damn, dude. That's crazy.
Which
I'm glad you brought up Thanksgiving, just real quick, because
sure.
Unless you're an athlete and you rely on your health and your fitness for work and income, I don't think it's worth it to kind of sacrifice for your physical well-being during the holidays, because then your mental and your connection with your friends and family, that's definitely going to take a hit because you're so obsessed with your physical health and eating well. Yeah. So
be a fatty. Take a day off.
That was just a real quick interjection. Unless you do it for work or something, don't.
Right.
Yeah,
and
are you telling me my family's more important than my gains?
Yeah.
For 1 or 2 days during the holidays, yeah.
I've seen you, Joe. You lack all the gains.
Yes.
Anyway, so yeah, dude, Randy, that's awesome, man. Like that.
Yeah.
And this is such a good. It's almost like it's almost like you did your New Year's resolution already, and this is good for people listening because now they know, shit, I can lose 2 inches off my waist in a month,
right?
Easily.
Yeah, and let me be clear here too. As far as the diet goes, it's not like I completely cut out everything that was bad for me. I still ate plenty of stuff, I still had an occasional cookie or something here and there. I had a lot more self-control about it. When I went back and had a cookie, I didn't go back and have 4. I had 1.
You need a whole bag of Doritos.
Right. Yeah, I would have a couple chips, not the whole bag.
It's after a bodybuilding competition, when they eat donuts and cookies, Randy's gonna be in the back of the physical therapy place, just chowing down on a whole box of donuts.
Just in the corner in the shadows.
Time to add 2 inches back.
Yeah. And I have a quick question for you, Randy.
Sure.
Because this goal, technically, it was just a short-term goal for you. Because, like, long-term, didn't you want to, like, kind of incorporate this diet more into your life and just, like, start working out more and everything? So isn't this just, like, one step?
Yeah, this was kind of just, like, the first step, the first month. I thought a month would be a good time frame as far as, like, for us to follow along with. But this is something that I do want to continue with, and my overall goal is to lose, a couple more inches. And like I said, I'm not too worried about weight because I figure as I gain muscle, weight's going to go up anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I just thought it was also good to still track it.
Yeah, man, that's dope. Now,
yeah, but I mean, I think all went pretty well.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, we'll have posted, by the time you guys hear this, we'll have posted updates and progress pictures and all of his solo recordings from each week he weighed in and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, like, I kind of want to just real quick a little bit talk about, I think, why I succeeded with some of the things and why some of the things were a little bit of a failure in a way. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to start with, I think, what I would call my biggest failure as far as the whole thing goes, and that was the exercise portion. Because I really didn't get into a solid exercise routine until the last week.
Really? Why do you think that is?
I think because going to the gym is not convenient.
Okay. So you may have had a lapse in focus and discipline.
Yeah, exactly. It was because it was trying to go, I have to go after work. I have a tough schedule with my work schedule. So a lot of times it's like, I don't really want to go to the gym at 8:00 at night.
Right.
So, that was kind of my biggest failure, but I got into a good routine the last week that I really want to try and stick with best I can, also assuming gyms don't get closed back down. But yeah, so that was pretty much, I'd say that was my biggest failure. And then I think why I succeeded was really just, I said it before, consistency.
Yeah, if you maintain that diet, maintain that self-control, like, yeah, that's good.
And again, it gets easier. As long as you stay consistent with it, it gets easier. Like, the more you say, oh, I can have this, like, I did really good this week, I can have a cookie, or I did really good today, I can have a donut. That's the kind of stuff that pushes you back, because then it turns into 2 and 3 and 4 of those things. It's about just keeping it consistent.
I think more so when you're talking about earlier, you were talking about eating a cookie and stuff like that, sort of like self-sabotaging behavior. I feel like that stuff definitely compounds. So say you have one cookie and you aren't disciplined and you aren't focused on your goal, then you're going to have 4 more cookies. And the same goes for healthy habits, So you go to the gym, or even something as little as brushing your teeth or eating one good meal in the morning. That stuff compounds. So once you start to perform, once you start to like go to the gym, and you go to the gym like twice a week, you'll start to go to the gym more. Or if you start to eat a healthy meal and feel good, you'll generally start to do that more often. So developing that good, healthy habit is what it's all about. Staying focused and disciplined.
Yeah, and that was definitely a big transformation with myself that I saw, where I would have that 1 or 2 cookies, and then that would change day to day, where to the point where I didn't even really want it anymore.
Right on, dude.
Oh yeah, brother. We'll give you a congrats.
Hell
yeah, he did it.
Put it in.
And what?
What?
Oh.
Wait. Oh, I get it now. I get it.
Cut that out.
Nah.
All right. So Randy. And I'm sure that'll continue. And now we could talk about New Year's resolutions. And since it's, we're like, 5 days away from New Year's, if I did my math correctly.
It's crunch time. Well, it's past crunch time. It's preparation time.
It is prep time. Get in those last few cookies while you can.
Oh, God.
New Year's. The gyms are about to be packed and then shut back down. Bum, bum, bum.
Maybe sit down with a cookie while you're writing your New Year's goals.
Yeah, so you feel guilty.
Yeah,
self-shame.
Have some cookies and milk, and
yeah,
then you're done.
So, how to stick with New Year's resolutions and how to plan them. We've talked about this with the SMART goals, like how to stay with it and how to make your goals obtainable, right?
Mm-hmm.
New Year's resolutions, I feel like people always just go too far. Like they set such a big goal.
Yeah.
It's tough. So I would say start with a smaller goal, something you can do within a month, and then maintain that good habit.
Mm-hmm. So I feel like, a lot of people do set huge goals, and I don't think they're always unobtainable like people think. There are some goals that, like 7-year goals that you can accomplish in 7 months. You just need to go about it in the correct fashion.
Right.
So a lot of people lose track. And that's because they have a goal. They really do want it. They have this desire and a need to fulfill this goal. But one of the things that helped me the most was finding a mentor.
Who was your mentor?
Me.
Actually, I don't remember his name because he was only a good mentor in this one aspect of my life. So fitness. It was this huge fitness dude.
Oh, you don't remember Arnold? How could you not remember his name?
It wasn't. Yeah, I did look up to Arnold. I do have the encyclopedia to bodybuilding. I got that
Of course you
a
do.
couple of years
Yeah,
ago.
you can say it. I know you look up
Oh,
to
yeah.
me now.
It was Randy, actually.
It's
No.
the beard.
So
That's right.
to talk about this, I want to talk about how I really got into fitness. I feel like this is important to tell this story so you can get a real understanding of how I did it. So back in 2015, I was on my first deployment, and that was the first time I actually got into a fitness routine where I stuck to it. I had worked out before, like in high school and stuff. I'd work out for like 30 days at a time. I would do small workouts and everything. And, I didn't have, like, I played sports, but I didn't have that one sport that kept me to my physical routine. I did orienteering when I was younger, and I had a passion for that, which is basically a combination of trail running and map reading. And I actually competed on a national level for that. But then we lost funding for our program, so we stopped doing it. So then I lost that outlet. So I really had no, like, nothing pushing me to excel in like a physical sport or anything like that. But then in 2015, on my first deployment, I was just like looking around at all these dudes in the desert, and they were all like working out and happy and buff. And I was like, man,
I can
You know
promise
what?
you none of them were happy.
yeah, they might not have been happy, but I saw people like hanging out in the gym and like lifting weights and like,
Right.
having conversation and everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I want that. So I started hanging out with a couple people. Busky was one of them. You probably know him. And we started, I just started working out with them, and they were putting up so much more weight than me. And then they left. So I'm like, okay, well, I've been working out with them for 2 weeks in that transition
Now you're the
period.
top
Or is the bottom bitch?
dog.
Yeah, more like the
Roasted.
latter, honestly. So one good thing that came out of weightlifting is I'm an introvert. So it gave me something to do on my own. And, I didn't have to be part of a team sport to excel at it. So I started like reading magazines and looking at, people on Instagram. And there's this one dude, he was kind of like Greg Plitt, except he wasn't Greg Plitt. But he was super buff and did all these athletic workouts and stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I want to do this. So that's when I like the flip switched for me. I was like, I want to look
What?
like this.
Wait,
The
wait,
flip
what?
switched.
The-
What?
The switch flipped.
There you go.
Don't edit that out. Keep that in.
Please.
Keep that in. We're gonna keep it rolling.
Flip
Classic.
switched.
Nobody's
I was like,
perfect.
Wait a second. I thought he messed up. Wait, what?
Nobody's perfect. Okay?
I was not
That
even
was
going to
good.
comment.
Sorry, you were on such a good roll. Continue.
So, getting back to the story, I started to sort of like emulate the workouts that he was posting online and everything. And, I was out there for 100 days, and I had kept this routine for 90 days, and I noticed some huge differences. And, it takes 30 something days to form a habit, like 32 or whatever, 28. I don't know.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But I was just disciplined, and I also had a lot of time to kill.
Nothing but.
But I was focused on this. I'm like, okay, I want bigger shoulders. I want a bigger chest. I want to be able to see my arms. And at the time, I was maybe like 165 pounds. I'd gained some muscle
Good
over
Lord.
the years just from like being in track and doing some small workouts, like body weight workouts and stuff. But then I think at the end of that deployment, I was 180, 185. And it was a lot of it was muscle because I lost a lot of weight and I put on a muscle. And that was after about 3 months.
So you said you were 165 and 185. That's 20 pounds.
Yeah.
It took me a while to do that math. Easy math.
But
yeah, man.
And so
that's crazy.
What?
Math's
so
hard.
I mentioned achieving a 7-year goal in 7 months. And that's because when I came into high school, okay, rewinding, I was 140 pounds. When I left high school, I was 160. And that was like 20 pounds of muscle, a little bit of fat, but it was a lot of muscle because I was doing body weight workouts. And that was also a 4-year time period. And during this deployment, I gained 20 pounds, and it was only 3 months. So depending on how focused and disciplined you are, that can make a big change in your life.
So had you done the research, like as you were out there, did you do research on how to like maximize the effectiveness of this?
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. So I was doing a lot of bro science, because
this guy, brother.
Damazetti.
Protein.
This guy that I was following, I seriously do forget his name. I don't remember his name.
Oh, it's because not actual bro
because
science,
he's a good role model in like a physical aspect because he's like ripped and makes money doing this and everything. But I don't like him as a person now looking back at it.
No.
Yeah, so I followed like his regimen and everything. I started getting protein, so I started like drinking protein shakes and stuff. Not getting too overboard with it, but then I also got good sleep and I stayed consistent. And I stayed consistent with the basics of a workout program, and that got me results.
Hell yeah,
that's awesome. Look at you now.
Yeah, I mean you're still small, but at least you weigh a little bit more.
He's big.
So
small.
basically, the big point of the story is you have a goal, and seek advice, seek wisdom from someone who has achieved it before, someone who walks the walk and talks the talk.
Oof.
So
and flips the switches.
Yeah, try
switches and flips.
Especially in today, we're all so connected through social media and everything. And Google, you can Google someone who's achieved what you want to accomplish. They've done it already. Yeah. So it's just like seek wisdom from that. You don't have to go on this path blindly. Sure, you're gonna get some face some ruts on the way, and you're gonna go your own path. But at least you'll have someone to emulate.
Yeah.
While you're doing it.
Yeah, I like that advice because why make things more difficult when you can take advice from someone that, like you said, has already done it before?
Yeah.
Like that way, I mean, you're not going to get quite as blindsided in your path of reaching that goal or something like that.
Right. And just like this podcast, you'll find someone who's overcome failure on the way to achieving whatever you want to achieve and learn from them.
Yeah, that is awesome. So, I mean, that's 2 stories of physical aspects. I think, like I said, 2020 is coming to an end. That year sucked.
Yeah.
So I want to talk
awful.
mentally.
10 out of 10 wouldn't recommend.
Yeah.
Just skip the year.
Fuck that, man. I've rebounded pretty well, and I want to talk about that for a little bit because I feel like a lot of people struggled this year. And so, like, I had the breakup, I had the deployment. Well, let me reverse that order. Deployment, then breakup, then grandfather passing, and then on top of all the
in the
other
midst
shit.
of lockdown.
Yeah. So it was a rough year, but I'm finally happy again, and I'm finally like moving forward with my life, and I think I'm back to where I was before all of that shit happened. 2019. What a good year that was. Oh my God, bring it back. But yeah. So I've been busy. I've been keeping myself very busy. I've been reading. I've been exercising. It's just this mental aspect, man. You'll get through it. It's tough. I didn't think I would, but I did. And it's just hanging out with friends, talking to people, reaching out, not being afraid to ask for help. I mean, I've reached out to you guys multiple times, just like no matter what hour of the day it was, I reached out. So it's nice to have that support system. And so just don't forget that. Like you have that going into 2021 and go into it with a mindset of like, I'm going to kick its ass. Like this is my year. Mm-hmm. It's my decade. It's my life. I'm going to make it great. So that's how I'm looking at things now. I'm not looking at 3 years down the road. Like I can't predict the future. I'm just going to get stressed out if I do that. But I wake up tomorrow, I've got a plan to eat healthy, go to the gym early, and then boom, that's a successful day as it is.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing now is my routine is I'm waking up, eating breakfast, going to the gym, and now I'm studying for a promotion. So that's like Jared said. I texted him the other day, and I texted Jared. And I was like, dude, I went to the gym today, and like I'm going home studying. And then I texted him when I was done studying, and he texted me. He was like, dude, look at that. Like, one good goal sets you up for such success for the rest of the day. Like, you went to the gym early, you got a good meal, and now you're studying. Like, that's done. And then I forget what I was doing. Like, I was reading or cleaning or something like that, and it just kept going. I read like 2 chapters of the book. So, like, once you start your day right, it's yours.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's important. So don't like I said. I mean, you said it's good to have long-term goals, but in my opinion, make tomorrow count. Like, when you wake up tomorrow, make that day count, and then everything else will fall in place from there.
Yeah.
That's how I'm going about life right now, and it's killing it.
So take it. So I mean, I kind of walked away for a bit, but so overall, are you kind of just saying like take it day by day? You want to be able to like end your day and be like, I did good today. Like, I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish.
Yeah, be proud of what you did that day.
Yeah.
It's like that big thing. It's like that episode of The Office when Joe is like, well, if you think you did a hard day's work and accomplished a bunch of stuff, then you can go home. And Michael just turns around and walks back.
I just watched that episode.
Yeah.
For real. Yeah. At the end of the day, if today was your last day, would you be happy with the amount of work you put in?
Yeah.
That work equity, man.
Most of us would say no. Especially, I had 2 Chick-fil-A cookies last night, like a fatty.
Oh man,
I was not
Joe's
proud.
probably gonna have Panda Express in a little bit.
Oh, he's probably
or Taco
he probably had it
Bell.
for breakfast and lunch and dinner last night.
He's slowly eating it right now.
He's like, damn
Joe,
it.
turn on your video.
No.
I've been exposed. I mean, I was
So-
drinking. I was also
Chris.
out drinking last night, so that's not any help.
Attaboy.
Hell yeah.
Chris.
No, that's not healthy. That's not healthy, man.
I wanted to hit on something that you said about like your mental state and like your happiness, just kind of like going back to like how you were like maybe this time last year or something like that, or just like you've gone back to normal.
Yeah.
And that's actually like just a psychological like effect called the hedonic treadmill.
What is it?
It's called the hedonic treadmill.
Hedonic?
Hedonic.
Hedonic?
Hedonic.
I've never heard of this.
Because
Link in the
as
description.
humans, we naturally kind of go back down to like a happiness baseline. So if good things happen in your life, yeah, you might feel happy for a little bit, but you always go back down.
Yeah.
And like it's been like for like amputees and stuff like that, you might think that they're unhappy or something like that. And maybe when that event happens, they might be depressed or something, but humans bounce back and we all end up at the same baseline.
Really?
Yeah, and I did a lot of research into this because, like, I mean, you know me, I'm big into finance and everything. And at the beginning of this year, I was like, how do I save money and everything like that? Like, how do I stop spending? Because, like, a lot of people, they get, like, that little dopamine hit, like, when they buy something big. It's like, oh, I got a new car. It's like, I got so happy with that. But at the end of the day, you just go back to that baseline. Like, lottery winners, they feel happy at the beginning. Then they feel exactly the same. Like, a year later, their life's exactly the same. Their life's not better.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's just
So
how
that-
humans work.
I mean, we could say this should be a future topic, but depression, man. So, like, at what point do you become not depressed? I mean, some people are clinically diagnosed with that, right? But is there a line where eventually you get over it? We don't know. That's for a future episode. Boom.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
It makes sense,
That's
though, because,
great.
I feel great. I feel like my old self. And, like, I'm putting in the work. Like, we went out for a photo shoot the other day. Me, Jared, and my buddy Jimmy, who I gave a shout-out to, I think, like, last episode or something, on the True Friends episode. What up, Jimbo? But, yeah, it was fun. And just getting out and doing that stuff. And I keep trying to get Jared to buy a camera, but I don't think
Man, that's an investment I'm not sure I'm ready for.
he's frugal. Anyway, yeah, so setting these goals day by day is my thing. And I think for New Year's, I'm just going to... I don't know what my New Year's resolution is going to be. I don't know. Anyway.
Got a
You'll
little bit
know
of time
when
to
it hits
figure it
you.
out.
Yeah. Joey, what's your... you got any New Year's resolutions, Joe? Or, like, how are you going to go into the new year?
I've been quiet this episode, haven't I?
There you have.
Yeah. So I'm actually a little bit cynical when it comes down to New Year's resolutions, I'll admit. Let me explain. So I hate making a New Year's resolution because I think of it as, why do you need a day to start a goal? Like, if you really want to obtain something, whether it be health, whether it be, work related, anything like that, why are you setting it for just a single day? And I know some people like to say, oh, this is my starting point. It's like, well, start now. If you think you want to be dedicated to something, like, start now. Don't wait for January 1st of next year to do something, because I feel like that's already setting yourself up for failure, because it already seems like you're not dedicated because you're waiting to do something. People in the gym, like, this is their daily life. The people who consistently go and work out, like, it is their daily routine. And of course, some people need a starting point, but if you really want to be driven to succeed and actually, again, still gym, for example, if you really want to be healthy and actually, lift a lot of weight or like kind of shred down some belly fat, why do you have to wait to January 1st? I know it sounds cynical, but that's kind of the way I look at it.
No, I can understand that. I think for a lot of people, it could just be like maybe a good way for measurement. So like, even if you look back at like Randy's goal, like he measured every single week. So like maybe that January 1st, it's like, hey, I want to reach this by the end of this year. And it's just like a good way. It's like, oh, it's the beginning of the year, like, or like maybe at the beginning of a week or something like that. It's just like a good way to like measure your progress when you start at like a day like that. I don't know. That's
Not
just
only that,
how
like,
I picture it.
Some people need that.
I think what you said is great. However, think of it mentally too. Like, that's a fresh start, man. 2021, fresh start.
Yeah,
like,
it's a renewal.
Yeah, that's how
Right.
I'm going about it. Like, like I said, I'm gonna make it my bitch. Like, boom, deadline. Here we go.
Some people need the deadlines. That's part of it for a lot of people, where it's not just as simple as, oh, I'm going to start right now. Like, they need deadlines and they need timelines.
Right. Yeah. No, for setting a baseline, absolutely. I agree with that. That's like, again, like what you guys said with Randy is, he started on this day. But again,
Not that I disagree with you either, Joe. I think what you said is spot on, but
Yeah.
Spot on,
Yeah.
mate.
I think it
Spot
kind
on.
of
Hold on,
falls back on Joe's life lesson though. Just send it. So like that's just truly what Joe believes.
Yeah, I
like
like
why
that.
why
Everything
wait?
he always says.
Send
Yeah,
it.
just why wait for that when you like if you're truly
Exactly.
if it's something you want to do, just send it.
Just
do
send
it.
it,
Why do you have to
bro.
wait?
facts.
This guy's silly. He's still gonna send it.
I'm still
So I
going to
think-
go eat Panda Express.
That's his mantra in life. So the beginning of the year is, I feel like it's, it's a state of renewal, of course. And also people live and plan their lives around these moments of elevation. So like holidays, you think about the first quarter of the year, there's Easter. And aside from that, what else is there? There's not really anything, right? So to keep us sane as humans, we need to set these big goals. And I feel like that's why New Year's resolutions are so big, because it's a state of renewal and reflection in our life, to reflect on the last year and something to keep us busy during that kind of boring part of the beginning of the year.
I've never thought of that before because you're right. Because you leave this like high of like like Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, like you're around family most likely, or you're doing something fun. You go from that high and then you just go down. And it's just like, oh, it's January,
Yeah.
probably
It's
the
like-
worst month of the year.
It's like what you were just
Yeah,
talking
honestly.
about. With the moments of elevation and the depressions that follow.
Look
And
at us wrapping it all back in like we know what we're talking about. Hell yeah.
What are you talking about? We big
we
dumb.
are not professionals in any sense of the
No.
word, by the way.
We're getting
We're
there.
just
No.
dudes.
No, that's awesome. And that's like, I made a post on my photography page, shameless plug, but it was how I'm so happy during winter and how I love it, and I don't understand how people can't. Like, how do you not love it? Because you have all your holidays. My birthday's in November, so I have my birthday, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. That's like, how are you
You
not
taking-
happy?
So some
No.
people
Taking a
don't like
shot
the
at me?
cold. Other people
Yeah.
don't like their families, which is a whole other problem in your life.
Yeah.
I don't
I
even
never
want to
thought
go
about
on
that.
Yeah, that's
so
a
you
big
taking
problem.
shots at me, Chris? Come on.
Oof.
Oh, do you not like the holidays in wintertime?
Oh no, I like the holiday. Like, I have no problem with the holidays. I just don't like the wintertime.
Ow.
Yeah.
Well,
But we've had this conversation.
wait,
So-
you didn't
Not
comment
on
on my
here, but-
post and leave me an additional comment for my ratings, did you?
I did
Oof.
not. Should I
So-
just be like, the wintertime sucks?
I think it's all how you look at it. Like, I love it and I make the best of it. I do winter sports. I love dressing for it. I just love it. I love the struggle. It's weird. All I want to do in life is have like a log cabin in Vermont with a bunch of snow and have to chop my own wood to stay warm. I don't know why that's appealing to me. And so some people that be like, that fucking sucks. Like I just want to go to the beach and live with the windows open and doors open and just have that nice breeze air. That's not a term.
Breeze air.
But
To each
I
their
want
own.
to do all those things minus the snow.
I love the snow. I will say
Me
though,
too.
like
Yeah.
I think January and February are the worst because what Talon was saying. You've already passed all the holidays and everything, so now you're just in the cold and darkness. And I'm not gonna lie, that darkness really affects your mental health. I felt it last year.
Really?
But yeah, no.
So
no
that's
doubt.
another thing is going into January then, keeping that mental state up. Yeah, it's gonna. For me, it's the opposite. Like summertime does that to me. But yeah, it's true. Is you need to find ways to stay happy and like hang out with people like me that enjoy it, and maybe you can find joy in it with them.
Facts.
Yeah.
Find a friend that goes snowboarding.
Yeah, like me, Joey, Brandon, a couple of our friends that aren't on here. We're going snowboarding again. So we made it. We went for his bachelor party last year, and then we made it an annual trip. So now we're going again in 2 weeks. By the time this airs, it'll be like 4 weeks past. But yeah,
Raffle.
well, 2 weeks. But yeah. So I think it's important just to set goals, like set things you look forward to.
Set intention.
No.
Boom.
So personally,
Yeah.
I instead of like New Year's resolutions, I like to look at like birthdays. That's just how I work with goals. Is like by the age of like this age, it's like I want to be able to accomplish this. I don't know. Personally, it's easier for me. So like by the age of like I'm 24 now, so like by the age of 25, I want to accomplish something, or I don't know. That's how I do goals, just because I think it's easier personally.
Setting those milestones.
Yeah.
Based on age. I like that.
I like that, but that's what drives me crazy, and I'm sure it would drive other people crazy, because then you set yourself up for judgment. It's like, well, I'm 25 and I'm not here. Like, what the fuck?
Well, the thing is he didn't say he's comparing himself to anyone else.
No,
he has a
just
vision
himself.
for his life.
I get that, but you asked me 5 years ago, by age 27, what are you gonna be? And I would have said married, maybe have a kid on the way. I'm gonna have a house. I'm not any of those things. So, like, to me, I judge myself based on my age. Like, I'm going to be 30 by the time I maybe even have a family. Like, who fucking knows at this point?
Okay, so I feel like setting a goal to be married or have kids by a certain age
can't do that.
is definitely setting yourself up for failure, because
Yeah.
you're putting your expectations on something that's out of your control.
Right.
You can't control anyone else.
That's outside factors.
Okay, good
Yeah.
point. So,
yeah.
so you're talking about, like, stuff you can't control, like financially or whatever.
Yeah, he's
so,
talking
like,
about like faith, family, friendships,
anything.
work, money.
So like for me personally,
fitness.
it's like by the age of 25, I want my net worth to be like $100,000, and I set that goal. I set that goal at the
Who is
like
this guy?
I set that goal earlier this year because of COVID, and I had to re-enlist because financially I was just like, I can't get out of the military and possibly find a job because of COVID, because of unemployment was so high and everything like that. But I don't want to ever be in that position again. So that's when I made that goal. By the age of 25, I want $100,000 net worth. That way, if I'm ever in that situation again, I could be like, you know what? I could live like 3-4 years without a job perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to stress. I don't have to make that life decision where I have to sign my life away again for another 4 years.
Yeah.
For something that I might not necessarily want to do. So I made that goal. And by the age of 25, I want to hit that.
Financially independent,
Damn,
man.
dude.
I like it. I'll
And
tell
then,
you what. Right now, I have a quarter of that. But in the next 5 years, I want to 10x that, man.
Yeah.
So speaking of mentors and goals, I'm seeking advice and mentorship from Talon, because he knows a heck of a lot more about freaking finance than I do.
Yeah,
So
Mr.
he's one of
wanting
the
to buy a
mentors I'm
house
looking
now.
at for that.
We're all going to be
So I'm
paying
not going into
Talon
it
all
blind.
the
Big
money.
brain individual.
Yeah, damn talent. Take my money.
Just take my money. And
I'll invest in
take
good.
4%. I don't care.
No, as we said from the very start of this podcast, is he's the researcher, man. He knows what he's doing. He takes the time to look at everything and make sound decisions off of that. I have no doubt you'll get there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm already
Yeah,
almost.
I think
I think I
you
might
can do
exceed
it.
that goal.
Oh, I'm already at like 250,000. It's no biggie. Like, whatever.
Jeez.
And I personally,
No,
I reached out a little
NBT,
too
yeah.
far, and by the age of 30, I want to be a millionaire. I'm just like, I don't know how to reach that, so I'm like,
It's
I'm not going to
doable.
set
Interest,
that.
bro. Interest. Anyway, back to New Year's resolutions. Just sticking with it. It's all about, what was it? The physical, mental, and spiritual aspects of your life.
So we only touched on 2 of those.
Yeah, because, and I'll give you a reason. Well, we can talk about it. Spiritually, man, I'm slacking.
Well, yeah, I
It's
know
not there for me.
not everyone believes in a God.
Right.
You know, So spiritual can mean whatever you want it to mean.
Right.
However, I think, when you're looking at a goal, a New Year's resolution or whatever, the goal, like just the idea of a goal is so broad that I think dividing your life into physical, spiritual, and mental really helps you kind of like find a balance in your life. And, at one point in my life, I didn't know about, physical, mental, and spiritual. And all I knew was like physical. So I was putting 100% into that. And guess what happened? My marriage failed. So
Well, it wasn't really your fault, but yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a factor that played into it. I think it's important to balance these three things in order to, be there successfully in your faith, for family, friends, your work, your fitness, your business, whatever it is. I feel like it's important to find that balance between the three. So that's something to keep in mind when you're setting a goal for New Year's.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, for sure.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, you can't be like struggling mentally or spiritually and just be like, I'm going to go to the gym and like just say like that's going to solve all your issues or something like that. You need that balance in life. You need to tackle the problems that you're facing.
Yeah, and you can't be failing mentally and spiritually and expect to be there 100% for your family, for your wife and your kids.
Yeah. So, so I like that because, Britt Chris, I hope he's listening to this episode. We'll have him on as a guest one day so you all can hear this smart British guy. But he told me once, this is, a couple years ago when we're both doing some hood rat stuff. But he goes, you can't ever be sexually fit, drunk fit, or fit. You have to pick 2 out of 3. And it's so funny, dude, because if you're drunk and having sex, you're not going to be physically active. Like, you're not going to be hitting the gym. You just don't have time for it. And you're going to be unhealthy.
Yo.
And I think you can do all the other, combinations, but it's so funny. So I think it is true to find that balance between mental, spiritual, and physical. I think that is possible, unlike Chris's analogy. But I think, because I definitely lack in the spiritually aspect of it, because, I do believe in God, but I don't believe in going to church. I don't believe that's how you should live your life. Like, you need to do that to be faithful.
Yeah.
But we're not going to get into that. So I think if I just live a good life, spiritually, I'm taken care of. Like, be a good person. That's how I do my spiritually aspect. That doesn't make any sense. That's how I am a spiritual person. And mentally, yeah, dude, it's just that fresh start, man. Just, you got to have a positive outlook on life. You can't just dwell on the past. And, like, if you dwell on the negatives, how are you ever going to move forward? You got to let that slide off your back and move forward and give it everything you got.
Yeah.
I see.
So when you're setting these New Year's resolutions, right now is to set that intention and develop a strategy. That's what you're supposed to do right now. And that way, once it comes time to actually perform, you're focused and disciplined, and you'll achieve your goal.
Yeah.
As far as strategy goes, I think a big reason why I was successful, to tie it back into my SMART goal, was, I have no problem setting big goals, but set a big goal full of small goals.
Yes. That's like taking what me, Joe, and Talon all said and putting it together. Take it day by day, month by month, and year by year, and you're going to get your goal.
Send that.
Real quick, listen. If you haven't listened to the video or seen the video on YouTube, and I know I've mentioned this, I think, in a past episode, Admiral McRaven does a speech for the Navy SEALs.
Ah, yes.
And when he starts off with
making his bed,
making your bed. First thing you do during the day is make your bed, because that way, if you've accomplished nothing else throughout your day, you've accomplished one thing and you've made your bed, and it sets you up to make accomplishments through the rest of your day.
No, start your day succeeding at something. And real quick, Chris, you talked about like how you're not very spiritual because you're not religious, but you also kind of said some things like you believe in like being a good person and everything like that. And I think you can truly believe like you can be a spiritual person without having a religion, because as long as you keep by like those ideals, as long as you keep by something,
like you're holding yourself to a standard.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's really what spirituality is, even when it comes to religion, because you're thinking about like if you're Christian, you're thinking about like how you look in the eyes of God and everything like that. But like as long as you keep to your ideals and you keep to your beliefs, doesn't matter what that is. That's
true.
That's all spirituality really is.
That requires a lot of discipline and focus, man.
Yeah.
I tell you what, like, I bet driving in traffic, sometimes it's hard for you not to
Oh, dude, I hate
flip
that
someone
shit.
off, you know? Just
Pet
like
peeves.
for me, you know, one of my goals spiritually is to read my Bible every day. And, you know, I know that every day the words aren't going to pop off the page and speak to me, you know, but having the discipline, like, okay, I'm going to open it up and I'm going to read it for 15 minutes a day. You know, maybe one of these days the words will pop out to me. Having that discipline, man.
Yeah.
Is that going to be our book recommendation? The Bible.
The Bible.
Bible.
Where's the Amazon
The
link?
Bible.
I actually
So,
like to
author,
read the Solely Bible.
God.
actually.
Yeah, the Holy Bible. Don Mazzetti.
I actually have
There
that
it
too.
I also have it.
So today's episode was a little all over the place, but it's on purpose because we want to talk about Randy Smarkle and how he's achieved it, and then some struggles we've gone through and how we're overcoming that, and how to look forward to the new year positively, and not setting lofty goals that you can't reach. Make it attainable, and start by making your bed every morning, and you'll reach your goal, and you'll reach the life that you desire.
All right, guys, this has been Lessons Learned. Thank you all for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and go follow our other social media pages linked in the description. From all of us here at Lessons Learned, have a good day and see ya!